I always knew the day would come. The day the contract ended. The day I would walk away from Isabella Romano. At least, that was what I told myself. For 12 months, I had lived under the same roof as the most feared woman in Chicago's underground world. Isabella wasn't just rich. She wasn't just powerful. She was the heir to the Romano Empire, a woman whose name could silence a room before she even entered it. People called her ruthless, cold, impossible to reach. But they didn't know the woman I knew. They didn't see the way she quietly left medicine outside my office when I was sick. They didn't hear the way her voice softened when she asked if I had eaten. They didn't notice how she always stood between me and danger, even when she pretended she was only protecting her reputation. And maybe that was the problem. Somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing Isabella Romano as my contract wife. I started seeing her as my wife. The real problem was that she never admitted she saw me the same way. That morning, I placed the final document on the kitchen counter. The divorce agreement. The contract termination papers. Everything we had agreed on 1 year ago. I stared at the signatures at the bottom of the page. Mine. Hers. 2 names connected by a deal. Nothing more. At least, that was what I needed to believe. You're leaving. Her voice came from behind me. I didn't turn around immediately. I already knew that tone. Calm. Controlled. The same tone she used when she ordered her security team to handle threats. The same tone she used when negotiating with people who were afraid of her. I thought you'd be happy, I said. I picked up my coffee and looked out the window. The contract is finished. You get your freedom. I get mine. Silence. A dangerous kind of silence. Then I heard her footsteps. Slow. Confident. She stopped across from me. You already packed. It wasn't a question. I looked at her. Isabella wore a black suit, her dark hair tied back, looking exactly like the woman everyone feared. But I noticed the small detail nobody else would. Her fingers were clenched. She was nervous. You checked my room? No. Her answer came too quickly. I raised an eyebrow. She looked away for half a second. I noticed. A small smile almost escaped me. You noticed my suitcase? I notice everything about you. The words came out before she could stop them. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Because we both heard what she said. Isabella's expression changed instantly. The walls came back up. That sounded different than I intended. Did it? Yes. Isabella. Don't. Her voice became colder. But not angry. Afraid. That surprised me. I had seen Isabella threaten billionaires, politicians, and criminals without blinking. But right now, she looked like she was afraid of one simple conversation. I know what this is, I said quietly. Her eyes met mine. The contract was useful. You needed a husband to stop your family from forcing another marriage. I needed the money and protection from my own problems. It worked. Her jaw tightened. You think that's all it was? Isn't it? That question hit harder than I expected. Because part of me already knew the answer. Isabella walked to the counter and picked up the contract. She stared at it for several seconds. You really believe I spent a year pretending? I don't know what to believe anymore. That was the truth. A year ago, I was just Kyle Bennett. A guy trying to rebuild his life after my father's company collapsed. A guy who needed money and accepted a ridiculous offer. Marry Isabella Romano. 1 year. No emotions. No expectations. A simple arrangement. Everyone told me I was crazy. They said a man like me would disappear the moment the contract ended. They were right. I was leaving. Because staying meant admitting something I wasn't ready to admit. I loved her. And loving Isabella Romano was dangerous. Not because she was a Mafia heiress. Because she was the first person who made me feel like I belonged somewhere. I'm leaving tonight, I said. Her eyes narrowed. No. I frowned. No. No. I almost laughed. Isabella, the contract is over. I know. Then you can't stop me. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she slowly walked toward the fireplace. I watched as she picked up the contract termination papers. My heart skipped. Isabella. She didn't answer. She simply opened the lighter beside the fireplace. A small flame appeared, and then she burned the papers. I stood frozen. What are you doing? She watched the documents turn into ashes. The contract ended. Her voice was quiet. But I never agreed to lose you. I stared at her. You burned the divorce papers? Yes. You can't just destroy them because you don't like the outcome. A strange expression appeared on her face. Almost a smile. Almost. Kyle. She stepped closer. Do you really think I'm the kind of woman who lets something important disappear because a piece of paper says it should? That paper was our agreement. No. She shook her head. That paper was the excuse I used to convince myself this wasn't real. I didn't know what to say. Because Isabella Romano didn't confess feelings. She didn't ask for things. She took control. But right now, she wasn't controlling anything. She was standing in front of me, vulnerable. I told myself when the year ended, you would leave, she said. Her voice dropped. I told myself I wouldn't care. I looked at her. And she looked directly into my eyes. And I was wrong. The room became completely silent. For the first time since I met her, Isabella wasn't acting like a queen. She was just a woman afraid of losing someone. But I still had questions. Why now? Because you were actually going to leave. That was the deal. I know. She took a breath. That's what makes me angry. Angry. Yes. Her eyes became sharper. Because you were the only person who kept your promise. You were the only person who didn't try to use me. I froze. She continued. You married me for a reason. You stayed because you had to. But somehow, you became the only person in my life who stayed when you didn't have to. Those words hit harder than any threat ever could. I looked away. Isabella, your world is complicated. I know. You have enemies. I know. Your family will never accept me. I know. Then why? She didn't hesitate. Because I choose you. I stared at her. Simple words. But from Isabella Romano, they meant everything. Before I could answer, my phone suddenly rang. Unknown number. I picked it up. Hello. A man's voice came through. Mr. Bennett. My expression changed. Who is this? You should ask your wife why someone from her family tried to kill you last night. My blood ran cold. I looked at Isabella. Her face changed instantly. The softness disappeared. The Mafia heiress returned. What did you say? I asked. The man laughed. You really thought your marriage was just a contract? The call ended. I lowered the phone slowly. Isabella was already reaching for hers. Who was that? I don't know. But the look in her eyes told me she suspected. And suddenly, my decision to leave didn't feel so simple anymore. Because maybe Isabella wasn't the only one hiding something. Maybe our contract marriage had been protecting me from a war I never knew existed. And maybe walking away from her was exactly what her enemies wanted. I used to think Isabella Romano's biggest weapon was fear. I was wrong. Her biggest weapon was control. She controlled every conversation, every business deal, every person who entered her world. But that morning, after the phone call, I saw something I had never seen before. Isabella Romano was shaken. Not scared. Never scared. But shaken. And that told me everything. Who was it? She asked. I looked at the phone in my hand. I don't know. That wasn't a random threat. No. Her eyes locked on mine. Did he mention anything else? I hesitated. She noticed. Of course she noticed. Tell me, Kyle. I hated that tone. Not because it was cold. Because it reminded me that she was used to people hiding things from her. I said the marriage was over. I replied. Her expression changed slightly. And he laughed. I watched her carefully. He said, You really thought your marriage was just a contract. The moment those words left my mouth, Isabella became completely still. That scared me more than anger would have. Because Isabella only became silent when something was serious. What does that mean? I asked. She didn't answer. Isabella. She walked past me and picked up her phone. Marco. A man answered almost immediately. I didn't hear his response, but I saw Isabella's expression harden. Find out who contacted Kyle. A pause. No. Her voice dropped. Do it quietly. Another pause. Then she added. And Marco? Yes, Miss Romano. If anyone in my family was involved. She stopped. Her eyes turned colder. They answered to me. She ended the call. I crossed my arms. Your family. She looked at me. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she walked toward the table and sat down. You should have left yesterday. I blinked. What? You should have taken your things and walked away before the contract ended. I stared at her. That's your response. Yes. You're telling me I should have left? Her expression softened. Because if you left yesterday, nobody would know where you were going. I understood. My anger faded. Not completely, but enough. You knew something was coming. She looked away. I suspected. Suspected what? That someone would use our divorce as an opportunity. I frowned. Why? Because as long as you were my husband, you were protected. I laughed once. Not because it was funny, because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So this entire year. Yes. You kept me close because of protection? She looked at me. That was one reason. One. She was quiet. And somehow, that silence answered me. I walked closer. Isabella. She looked at me. Tell me the truth. For once, she didn't immediately respond. The woman who could negotiate million-dollar deals suddenly looked like someone searching for the right words. When I first asked you to marry me, it was business. I nodded. I know. But after a few months. She stopped. After a few months, what? Her fingers tightened around the edge of the table. You became important. Those words were simple. But from her, they carried weight. I looked at her. You could have told me. I tried. When, every time I almost did, something happened. I almost smiled. That sounds like an excuse. It is. That surprised me. She actually admitted it. I'm good at protecting companies. I'm good at handling enemies. I'm good at making people afraid of disappointing me. She looked down. But I'm terrible at asking someone to stay. That was the first time I saw the real Isabella. Not the heiress. Not the woman everyone feared. Just Isabella. A woman who had spent her entire life being powerful because she never had the luxury of being vulnerable. I sat across from her. Why me? She looked up. What? Why did you choose me? Her answer came instantly. Because you didn't want anything from me. I frowned. That's not true. I needed money. At the beginning. She leaned back. But when you found out who I really was, you didn't change. I remembered that day. The first time I discovered Isabella wasn't just a successful businesswoman. She was Isabella Romano. The name people whispered about. The name connected to power, loyalty, and danger. Most people would have been afraid. I wasn't. Not because I was brave. Because I had already seen who she was when nobody else was watching. You were the first person who looked at me like I was just a person, she said. I didn't answer. Because I knew she was right. The problem was, I was still hurt. You should have trusted me. Her eyes moved to mine. I know. No, Isabella. I shook my head. You don't understand. She stayed quiet. You decided everything for me. You decided I needed protection. You decided what I could handle. You decided when I should know the truth. Her expression changed. Because she knew I was right. I wasn't trying to control you. Maybe not. I stood. But that's what happened. The silence between us was heavier than before. Then Isabella said something I didn't expect. You're right. I looked at her. She continued. I spent my whole life believing control was the same as protection. She stood slowly. But I forgot one thing. What? That you're not one of my employees. Her eyes met mine. You're the only person who ever had the choice to leave. I didn't know how to respond. Because that was the truth. Everyone around Isabella stayed because they needed something. Money. Power. Protection. I was the only person who could walk away. And maybe that was why she was afraid. Before I could speak, the front door suddenly opened. 3 security men rushed inside. Isabella immediately moved in front of me. Miss Romano. What happened? The oldest guard looked serious. We found something. He handed her an envelope. She opened it. Her expression changed. What is it? I asked. She didn't answer. I walked closer. Inside was a photograph. A picture of me leaving the house the previous night. Someone had been watching me. On the back of the photo were 6 words written in black ink. The contract saved him. I looked at Isabella. What does that mean? For the first time, she didn't hide the truth. It means. She folded the paper. My enemies never cared about our marriage. She looked at me. They cared because it was the only thing keeping you alive. A cold feeling ran through me. Who wants me dead? Isabella's answer was quiet. My brother. I froze. You have a brother? Yes. And he wants to kill me? She looked away. Because he believes you stole something from him. What? Isabella looked back at me. Me. And suddenly, leaving didn't feel like the hardest decision anymore. The hardest decision was realizing that if I walked away, I might be walking straight into a trap. I always thought leaving would feel like freedom. I imagined myself waking up in my own apartment, making my own decisions, and finally escaping the complicated world of the Romano family. No guards. No secrets. No enemies. No pretending to be the husband of the most dangerous woman in Chicago. But standing there in Isabella's house, holding a photograph that proved someone wanted me dead, I realized something. I wasn't walking away from a marriage. I was walking away from the only thing protecting me. And the worst part? I didn't know if Isabella's protection was the reason I was alive, or the reason I had become a target. Your brother? The words came out before I could stop them. Isabella nodded. Adrian Romano. I had heard that name before. Not from newspapers. Not from rumors. From the way people reacted whenever someone mentioned him. Different from Isabella. Where Isabella built loyalty through respect, Adrian built obedience through fear. He knows about me? I asked. He knows everything. That's impossible. No. Her answer was immediate. He's been watching us for months. I looked at her. Months. Yes. And you never told me? The guilt in her eyes appeared instantly. I already knew the answer. She had kept another secret. Again. I laughed quietly. Of course. Kyle. No, it's fine. It's not. You always say that after you make a decision for me. She looked like she wanted to argue. But she didn't. Because she knew. That was the problem with Isabella. She was powerful enough to control almost anything. Except the truth. I thought keeping you away from this would protect you, she said. And now. Her eyes met mine. Now I know I was wrong. That surprised me. Isabella Romano admitting she made a mistake was something I never thought I would hear. But it didn't erase the frustration. I grabbed my jacket. I'm still leaving. Her expression changed. No. I stopped. Not because of her command. Because of the emotion behind it. Fear. Real fear. Isabella. You don't understand. Then explain. She stepped closer. If you leave this house alone, Adrian will find you. Then I'll deal with him. No. Her voice became sharper. You won't. I stared at her. You think I can't handle myself? I think you don't know what you're walking into. She took a breath. Adrian doesn't fight fair. He doesn't threaten people. He removes problems. The way she said it made my stomach tighten. And I'm a problem? Her face changed. No. Then what am I? She looked at me. For several seconds, she said nothing. Then, you're the person he believes took the only thing he ever wanted. I already knew the answer. You. She nodded. My brother always believed the Romano family should belong to him. And now he thinks I chose you over him. I looked away. That was the part that bothered me. Not the danger. Not even Adrian. It was the fact that Isabella had chosen me. And I didn't know what to do with that. Because a part of me wanted to believe her. Another part of me remembered every secret she kept. I can't stay because you're afraid of losing me. Her eyes narrowed. That's not why. Then why? Because I love you. The room went completely silent. I froze. Not because I didn't expect it. Because I did. Somewhere deep down, I had been waiting to hear it. But hearing Isabella say it out loud was different. She looked almost angry after saying it. Like she hated that those words escaped. I wasn't supposed to say that. I looked at her. Why? Because I don't know how to say it without sounding weak. I stepped closer. You think loving someone makes you weak? No. She looked at me. I think needing someone does. That answer told me everything. Isabella Romano had never needed anyone. She had built an empire by herself. She had survived betrayal, pressure, and family conflicts. But me? I was the one thing she couldn't control. And that scared her. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Another unknown number. Isabella immediately reached for it. No. I pulled it away. Kyle. I'm done letting everyone decide what I should know. She stared at me. For once, she didn't stop me. I answered. Hello. A familiar voice came through. You finally answered. My blood ran cold. Adrian. How did you get my number? A laugh. You're asking the wrong question. What's the right one? Ask yourself why Isabella never told you what happened before your wedding. I looked at Isabella. Her expression changed. She knew. What are you talking about? Adrian continued. Ask her why she needed a fake husband so badly. I tightened my grip on the phone. Say what you want to say. Fine. His voice became colder. Your wife didn't choose you because she loved you. Isabella stepped forward. Kyle, don't listen to him. But Adrian continued. She chose you because she needed someone who could take the blame. My heart stopped for a second. What? Isabella's face changed. Kyle. She never told you? Adrian laughed. Ask her about the night before your contract began. The call ended. I stood there, looking at Isabella. And for the first time since I met her, I wondered if there was another reason she chose me. A reason darker than I imagined. Isabella. She didn't answer. Tell me. Her silence was enough. Tell me the truth. She closed her eyes. And when she opened them again, I saw something I had never seen before. Regret. Kyle. My chest tightened. What happened the night before we signed the contract? She looked at the floor. I made a mistake. What kind of mistake? Her voice was quiet. The kind that put your life in danger. I waited. Because I needed to hear it from her. Not from Adrian. Not from anyone else. From her. I didn't choose you randomly. I frowned. What does that mean? She looked at me. Before I met you. A pause. Someone inside my family tried to destroy me. And you were connected to it. I stared at her. What? I found evidence that someone was using your father's old company to attack mine. My mind went blank. My father? Yes. That's impossible. I thought so too. Then why marry me? Her eyes filled with guilt. Because I needed to know if you were involved. The words hit harder than any threat. For a moment, I couldn't speak. You suspected me? At first. And after? She stepped closer. After I learned who you really were. Her voice softened. I realized I had been wrong. I looked at her. So the entire marriage? No. She shook her head. Not the entire marriage. But it started that way. Yes. That one word hurt. Because it was honest. And somehow, honesty hurt more than a lie. I grabbed my jacket again. This time, Isabella didn't stop me immediately. Maybe she knew she couldn't. Maybe she knew I needed answers. I need some time. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Kyle. I looked back. For a second, she wasn't a Mafia heiress. She was just Isabella. The woman who burned the papers because she couldn't accept losing me. I don't know if I can trust you. Those words hurt her. I saw it. But she nodded. I understand. I walked toward the door. Then she said something that made me stop. I never lied about one thing. I turned around. She looked directly at me. I didn't fall in love with you because of the contract. Silence. I fell in love with you after I realized I wanted the contract to never end. I didn't answer, because I didn't know if that was enough. But when I stepped outside, I realized something. I wasn't running away from Isabella anymore. I was trying to find out if I could believe in her. And somewhere behind me, the woman who controlled an entire empire was standing alone. For the first time, afraid that she had lost the one person she couldn't replace. I spent the next 3 hours driving without knowing where I was going. That was the strange thing about leaving Isabella. I thought I would feel relieved. I thought I would finally breathe. Instead, every mile away from her house felt heavier. Because no matter how angry I was, one fact kept bothering me. Isabella had lied to me. But she had also protected me. Both things were true. And I hated that. It would have been easier if she was just a villain. If she was only the cold Mafia heiress everyone warned me about. Then leaving would have been simple. But she wasn't. She was the woman who remembered how I took my coffee. The woman who stood in front of me when armed men entered a room. The woman who burned the only document that gave her a reason to let me go. I stopped at a small diner outside the city and sat in the corner. For the first time in months, nobody looked at me like Isabella Romano's husband. I was just Kyle. And somehow, that made me feel worse. My phone rang. I looked down. Isabella. I almost ignored it. Almost. But I answered. What? There was silence. Then her voice. You're safe? I closed my eyes. That was the first thing she asked. Not, are you still angry? Not, why did you leave? Not, do you believe me? Just, are you safe? I'm fine. Where are you? Does it matter? Yes. Why? Because Adrian knows you're gone. I sat up. How? He has people everywhere. So what? You're saying I can't even leave? No. Her voice became quiet. I'm saying someone wants you to disappear. I looked around the diner. Suddenly, every stranger felt suspicious. Isabella. I know what you're thinking. What? You think I'm trying to control you again? I didn't answer. Because she was right. I'm not. Then what are you doing? I'm asking you to let me protect you. I laughed softly. That sounds exactly like control. A pause. Then, maybe. That surprised me. She admitted it. I don't know how to do this, Kyle. Her voice sounded different. I don't know how to love someone without trying to protect them. I looked down. And I don't know how to trust someone who keeps secrets from me. I know. Another pause. Come back. I stayed silent. Not because of the contract. Her voice lowered. Not because you owe me anything. Then why? Because I need to tell you everything. I looked at the phone. Everything. That was the word I had been waiting for. Fine. I heard her breathe. But no more secrets. No more. And no decisions for me. No more. And if I don't like what I hear? A long silence. Then she answered, then I'll accept whatever you decide. That was the first time Isabella gave me control. Not because she had to, because she wanted to. When I returned to the Romano estate, something felt different. Usually, the security team moved like machines. Silent, professional, untouchable. But tonight, everyone looked tense. Something had happened. I walked inside. Isabella was waiting. No suit. No perfect appearance. Just a simple black shirt and tired eyes. She looked like she hadn't slept. You came back. I nodded, only to hear the truth. She accepted that. Fair. We sat across from each other. For once, there was no contract between us. No agreement. No roles. Just two people. I met you because of your father. I stayed quiet. My investigation showed that someone was using Bennett Industries' old accounts to move money against my family. My father died 3 years ago. I know. And you thought I was involved? At first, the honesty still hurt. But then I met you. She looked at me. You were nothing like the person I expected. What did you expect? Someone ambitious. A bitter smile appeared. Someone who wanted revenge against the Romanos. And instead, I found someone who apologized to a waiter because he accidentally spilled water on you. I almost smiled. That's what changed your mind. No. She shook her head. It was everything. Her voice softened. You didn't care about my last name. You didn't care about my money. You didn't care about my reputation. She looked down. You treated me like Isabella. I didn't speak. Because I understood. Everyone saw what she represented. Nobody saw her. Except me. But there was something else, she continued. I looked at her. What? The night before our wedding. My expression changed. The night Adrian mentioned. She nodded. I found out someone in my family planned to frame you. For what? Murder. The word hit me. What? They planned to make it look like you were responsible for an attack against my family. I stared at her. And your solution was? To marry you. I frowned. That doesn't make sense. It does in my world. She leaned forward. As my husband, you would have protection. Nobody could touch you without challenging me. So the marriage was a shield. Yes. And you never told me. No. Why? Her eyes lowered. Because I was afraid. I almost laughed. Afraid? Yes. Of what? She looked at me. Of losing the one person who made me feel normal. That stopped me. I thought if I told you the truth, you would leave before I had the chance to prove myself. I looked away. And now you're leaving anyway. Her words were quiet. That hurt. Because she wasn't angry. She was accepting it. I should have trusted you. Yes. She nodded. I know. The honesty made it harder. I spent my whole life surrounded by people who wanted something from me. She continued. When I finally found someone who didn't. Her voice cracked slightly. I didn't know how to handle it. The silence lasted several seconds. Then my phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. I opened it. A picture appeared. My stomach dropped. It was Isabella and me. From our wedding day. But someone had written over the picture. The husband was never the target. Another message appeared. The wife was. I looked at Isabella. She saw my expression. What happened? I handed her the phone. The moment she read it, all emotion disappeared from her face. Adrian, you think? Yes. Why? Because this time, she looked truly afraid. Not for herself. For me. He changed the game. What does that mean? She stood. It means he doesn't want to kill you anymore. Then what does he want? Isabella looked at me. And the answer made my blood run cold. He wants you to kill me. I froze. What? He's going to make you believe I betrayed you. She stepped closer. He wants you to hate me. I stared at her. And if he succeeds? Her eyes met mine. Then I lose everything. I looked at the woman in front of me. The woman who lied. The woman who protected me. The woman who burned our divorce papers. And suddenly I realized something. The real danger wasn't whether I would leave Isabella. The real danger was whether someone would make me believe I should. I used to think the hardest thing in my life was losing everything. My father's company collapsing. Watching people I trusted disappear the moment money was gone. Starting over with nothing. I was wrong. The hardest thing was standing in front of Isabella Romano and not knowing if I could trust the woman I loved. Because that was the truth I didn't want to admit. I loved her. Even after the lies. Even after the secrets. Even after learning that our marriage started as a calculated move. I still loved her. And that made everything worse. Say something. Isabella's voice pulled me back. I looked at her. For the first time, she looked uncertain. Not because of Adrian. Not because of the threat. Because of me. I don't know what to say. That's fair. She nodded. I deserve that. I almost smiled. Almost. You're not going to defend yourself? No. That surprised me. You're not. No. She looked at the phone in her hand. I spent months explaining why I had reasons. She placed it down. But reasons don't change the fact that I hurt you. The answer caught me off guard. Because I expected Isabella to fight. She always fought. But now she was admitting she was wrong. I don't know who you are anymore, I said. Her eyes moved to mine. I'm still the same person. Are you? Yes. Because the woman I knew would never hide something this big. A painful expression crossed her face. You're right. Again. She agreed. No excuses. No anger. Just honesty. I was afraid. I looked at her. You keep saying that. Because it's true. She took a breath. My entire life, everyone around me wanted something. They wanted my family's power, my money, my name. Her voice became quieter. When I met you, I thought you were different because you didn't care about any of that. I wasn't. Yes, you were. She stepped closer. You could have used me. You could have asked for anything. You could have taken advantage of the situation. She shook her head. But you didn't. I stayed silent. And that terrified me. Why? Because I finally had something I couldn't replace. Those words stayed in the air. Isabella Romano had everything. Money, power, influence. But she was telling me I was the one thing she couldn't replace. Before I could respond, the security alarm suddenly went off. The sound cut through the house. Isabella instantly changed. The vulnerable woman disappeared. The leader returned. Kyle, stay here. I frowned. No. Her eyes snapped toward me. This isn't the time. Exactly. I stood. I'm tired of standing behind you while everyone decides what happens to me. Kyle. No. I shook my head. You wanted me to trust you? Then let me stand beside you. For a moment, she looked at me. Then something changed. A small smile appeared. Not the cold smile she showed enemies. A real one. Stubborn. Learned from you. She almost laughed. Almost. Then Marco rushed inside. Miss Romano. What happened? We found someone inside the property. Isabella's expression became dangerous. Who? Marco hesitated. That was enough. Who? A former security member. Her eyes narrowed. Name? Daniel Cross. The moment she heard the name, her face changed. You know him? I asked. She didn't answer. That worried me. Isabella. He worked for me 3 years ago. And he was the person who helped me investigate your father's company. My stomach tightened. The person who gave you information about me? She nodded slowly. Yes. Before I could say anything, Marco placed a phone on the table. We found this on him. Isabella picked it up. The screen showed messages. Hundreds of them. Between Daniel and Adrian. My chest tightened. So the person who made you suspicious of me was working for my brother. The room went silent. Everything suddenly connected. Adrian didn't just want to destroy Isabella. He wanted to make her distrust me. He wanted our marriage built on suspicion. Because if Isabella and I turned against each other, we would destroy ourselves. He planned this from the beginning, I said. Isabella nodded. Yes. Even our marriage? No. She looked at me. Not our marriage. Then what? The situation around it. I stared at the messages. A strange feeling hit me. For months, Isabella believed she was protecting me. But she had actually been manipulated too. For the first time, we weren't on opposite sides. We were both victims of the same person. Where is Daniel now? Isabella asked. Marco looked uncomfortable. He escaped. Of course he did. Isabella turned away. I saw frustration on her face. Not because she lost a suspect. Because she blamed herself. You're doing it again. She looked at me. Doing what? Taking responsibility for everything. She didn't answer. You think because you're the head of the family, every problem is yours to solve. It is. No. I stepped closer. It isn't. She stared at me. You don't have to carry everything alone. For a second, she looked like she wanted to believe me. Then her phone rang. She answered. Hello. Her expression changed. What? Silence. Then, send me the location. She ended the call. What happened? She looked at me. Adrian contacted us. Where? He wants to meet. That's a trap. I know. Then don't go. She looked at me. I have to. No. Her eyes softened. Kyle, I'm serious. He has something I need. What? She hesitated. Then, the original evidence that proves your father was innocent. I froze. My father. She nodded. Adrian has the proof. I understood immediately. This wasn't just about Isabella anymore. It was about my family. The truth I had been searching for years. I'm coming with you. No. Isabella. It's too dangerous. I looked at her. You don't get to decide that anymore. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Because she knew. I was right. For the first time, we weren't pretending. No contract. No fake marriage. No roles. Just us. A few hours later, we arrived at the meeting location. An abandoned warehouse outside the city. Exactly the kind of place where people like Adrian made deals. Isabella reached for the door. I stopped her. Before we go in. She looked at me. What? I hesitated. Because I didn't know if I was ready to say it. But maybe after everything. I needed to. I'm still angry. I know. I'm still hurt. I know. But I don't want to lose you. Her expression changed. A small crack appeared in the wall she always kept around herself. Kyle. I looked at her. I don't know what happens after tonight. She nodded. Neither do I. But I know one thing. What? I'm not leaving because of a contract. For a moment, Isabella said nothing. Then she whispered. Good. I frowned. Good. She stepped closer. Because I already destroyed that contract. I almost smiled. You really like burning things. Only things that try to take you away from me. Before I could answer, the warehouse lights suddenly turned on. A man's voice echoed from inside. Finally, Adrian stepped forward, smiling. I was wondering when my sister would bring her husband. He looked at me. Or should I say, his smile widened. The man who still thinks he chose to stay. Adrian Romano had one of those smiles that made people uncomfortable. Not because it was cruel, because it was confident. The kind of smile someone wore when they believed they had already won. He stood across from us like he owned the room. Like Isabella and I were just pieces on a chessboard he had arranged months ago. Funny, Adrian said. His eyes moved from Isabella to me. All this time, I thought my sister would choose power over everything. He tilted his head. But she chose you. I stepped forward. Is that supposed to bother you? Adrian smiled. You still don't understand, Kyle. Then explain. Isabella immediately grabbed my arm. A warning. But I didn't move. I was tired of secrets. Tired of people speaking around me. Adrian laughed. That's exactly why she likes you. My expression hardened. Careful. No. He looked at Isabella. She likes him because he's the only person in the world who doesn't fear her. Isabella's face remained cold. Enough. Adrian ignored her. You know what's interesting, Kyle? He walked closer. When my sister first brought you into the family, everyone thought you were temporary. I was. No. He shook his head. You were supposed to be. The words caught my attention. What does that mean? Adrian smiled. It means Isabella never planned for you to survive this long. The air changed. I looked at Isabella. Her expression darkened. Don't listen to him. Why? I looked back at Adrian. Because he's lying? Adrian laughed. Ask her. Silence. Ask your wife why she created the contract. I turned to Isabella. Tell me. Her eyes met mine. Kyle. No. I shook my head. I need to hear it. Adrian enjoyed the moment. Of course he did. He wanted us divided. But this time, I wasn't going to run. Isabella took a slow breath. The contract was supposed to last 1 year. I know. But there was another condition. My heart sank. What condition? She looked away. If you discovered the truth about my family and decided you wanted out. She paused. You would leave safely. I frowned. That doesn't sound bad. It wasn't. Then what? Her voice became quieter. I had a plan to send you away. I stared at her. Send me away? Yes. Without telling me? Yes. The answer hurt. Again. Adrian smiled. There it is. I ignored him. Why? Because I thought once everything was over, you deserved a normal life. I looked at her. A normal life? Yes. She stepped closer. You never wanted my world. She shook her head. You never wanted money, power, or influence. Her voice softened. You wanted peace. I didn't answer. Because she was right. But that didn't mean it didn't hurt. You decided for me. Yes. She didn't deny it. I did. Adrian laughed. She always does that. Isabella's eyes turned cold. Leave. No. He smiled. Because everyone needs to hear the truth. He looked at me. You think she burned the divorce papers because she loved you? I stared at him. Stop. No. His voice became sharper. She burned them because she finally realized she couldn't control the one thing she wanted. I looked at Isabella. And the worst part was, a small part of me wondered if he was right. Not about her feelings. I knew those were real. But about her habit. About controlling everything. Because Isabella did love me. But she also tried to decide my choices. And that scared me. Suddenly, Isabella stepped between us. Enough. Her voice was powerful. The entire room went silent. You wanted to destroy my relationship. She looked at Adrian. You failed. Adrian's smile disappeared slightly. You think? Yes. She grabbed my hand. Not possessively. Not like she was claiming ownership. Like she was asking me to stand with her. A choice. My husband is not here because of a contract. Adrian froze. Isabella looked around the warehouse. I know every person watching us right now. Security members appeared from the shadows. Adrian's expression changed. You knew? Of course. She looked at him. You made the same mistake everyone makes. What mistake? You thought because I love someone, I become weaker. Her grip tightened around my hand. You forgot something. She stepped forward. I was dangerous before I met him. Nobody spoke. And I'm more dangerous now. Adrian's expression finally changed. For the first time, he looked uncertain. But then he smiled again. Very impressive. He reached into his coat. My body immediately tensed. Isabella moved. But Adrian didn't pull a weapon. He pulled out a file and dropped it on the table. The truth about Kyle's father. Everything stopped. I stared at the file. You have the evidence? Yes. Why? Adrian smiled. Because I wanted you to know who really destroyed your family. I looked at Isabella. She looked confused too. What are you planning? Adrian ignored her. Kyle, open it. I didn't move. Why should I trust you? You shouldn't. That answer surprised me. He smiled. But you should want the truth. I walked toward the table. Isabella followed. Inside the file were financial records. Emails. Photos. Documents. My hands tightened. Because one name appeared everywhere. Not Romano. Not Adrian. Someone else. Someone I knew. Someone I trusted. My father's former business partner. What is this? Adrian looked at me. The man who destroyed your father wasn't my family. I looked at Isabella. It wasn't you. She shook her head. No. For years, I believed the Romano family had something to do with my father's downfall. I believed Isabella's world was connected to my pain. But the truth was different. Someone else had been hiding. Someone much closer. Then I noticed something else. A signature. A date. The night before Isabella and I signed our marriage contract. My blood turned cold. Why did this happen the same night we met? Nobody answered. Then Isabella looked at Adrian. You knew? Adrian's face became serious. Yes. You knew from the beginning? Yes. Then why didn't you tell me? His smile disappeared. Because I wanted you to choose. Choose what? He looked at me. Whether you trust your wife. A pause. Or whether you finally accept that everyone close to you eventually betrays you. I stared at him. And suddenly I understood. This was never just about destroying Isabella. It was about destroying me. Adrian didn't want my death. He wanted me broken. He wanted me to believe I was alone. But he made one mistake. He underestimated the one thing Isabella and I finally had. The truth. I closed the file. Then looked at Isabella. For the first time, I didn't see the woman who lied to me. I saw the woman who stood beside me when everyone else wanted us apart. We're leaving. Adrian smiled. You think this is over? I turned. No. I looked at him. But it's over for you pretending you control the story. As we walked away, Isabella whispered. Are you okay? I looked at her. No. She lowered her eyes. I continued. But I'm here. She stopped walking. Because she understood what that meant. I wasn't staying because of a contract. I wasn't staying because she protected me. I was staying because, despite everything, I still chose her. But when we reached the car, Isabella's phone rang. She answered. Her expression changed instantly. What? A pause. Then, locked down the estate. I looked at her. What happened? She slowly lowered the phone. Her face was pale. Someone broke into my house. Who? She looked at me. They weren't looking for me. A cold feeling entered my chest. Then who? Her answer was barely a whisper. Kyle. They took everything that proves your father was innocent. I froze. because I knew what that meant. The truth had disappeared, and whoever stole it was coming for us next. I used to think losing everything meant losing money. I was wrong. Losing everything meant finally finding the truth and watching it disappear. The evidence that could clear my father's name was gone. The only thing that could explain why my family had been destroyed years ago had vanished overnight. And somehow, I wasn't angry. I was focused, because for the first time, Isabella and I weren't fighting each other. We were fighting the same enemy, who had access to the estate. I asked. Isabella sat in the car, looking through the security reports Marco had sent. Only senior security members. So someone inside helped them. Yes. Again. The word came out colder than I intended. Isabella looked at me. I saw the pain in her eyes. She knew exactly what I meant. Again. Another person she trusted had betrayed her. Another secret. Another person hiding in the shadows. I'm sorry. I looked away. Stop saying that. She was quiet. Why? Because every time you say sorry, you act like you're the only person who made mistakes. She looked at me. I made mistakes too. A small surprise crossed her face. I continued. I should have asked more questions. I should have noticed things were strange. I should have trusted my instincts instead of assuming the worst. Kyle. But we're past that. I looked at her. Right now, we need to find who did this. For a moment, she just stared at me. Then she nodded. Okay. That simple word meant more than I expected, because Isabella was finally letting me stand beside her. Not behind her. Not protected by her. Beside her. When we returned to the estate, the atmosphere had completely changed. Everyone was moving quickly. Security teams checking cameras. Employees being questioned. Phones constantly ringing. Normally, this was Isabella's world. A world where she gave orders and everyone followed. But this time, she didn't push me away. She handed me a tablet. Security footage. I looked at her. You're giving me access? Yes. Why? Because you were right. She paused. I can't make every decision alone. That sentence probably meant nothing to anyone else. But to me, it was everything. Isabella Romano admitting she needed someone was almost impossible. I started reviewing the footage. Hours passed. Then I noticed something. Stop. The security officer froze the video. What? I pointed at the screen. Go back 10 seconds. The footage played again. A man entered the west gate. Nothing unusual. Security uniform. Normal movement. But something bothered me. Zoom in. The officer did. I stared at the screen. He's not a security member. Everyone looked confused. How do you know? Marco asked. I pointed. Because he walks like someone trying to look like security. Silence. Isabella looked at me. What do you mean? A real guard checks the environment first. I pointed. He never looks at the cameras. He never checks the corners. He walks straight because he already knows where he's going. Marco looked impressed. You noticed that? I shrugged. I worked in my father's company for years. People who steal don't move like they belong there. Isabella smiled slightly. A proud smile. You're good at this. I looked at her. Don't sound so surprised. I'm not. You are. A small smile appeared. I'm realizing I underestimated you. I looked back at the screen. You do that a lot. Yes. She didn't argue. I do. That was new. The old Isabella would have defended herself. This Isabella accepted it. And somehow, that made me trust her more. We tracked the fake guard's movements. He didn't steal money. He didn't take jewelry. He went directly to Isabella's private office. The room where she kept information about her family. The evidence. Isabella nodded. He knew exactly where to look. Marco's expression changed. Someone gave him instructions. Yes. I looked at Isabella. Who knew? She became quiet. Too quiet. Isabella. She looked away. There was one person. Who? My mother. The answer surprised me. Your mother? She knew about the evidence. Why? Because she was the one who helped me collect it. I frowned. And where is she now? Isabella didn't answer immediately. That worried me. Where is she? She left the country 2 days ago. The room went silent. 2 days ago? Yes. Convenient. Isabella's face tightened. I don't want to believe that. But you're considering it. Yes. I looked at her. That hurt. Not because she suspected her mother. Because I understood. In Isabella's world, trust had always come with a risk. Everyone could betray you. Everyone could leave. Except, she looked at me. What? I realized I was staring. Nothing. No. She stepped closer. You were thinking something. I sighed. I was thinking you're waiting for me to leave too. Her expression changed. What? You're always preparing for people to disappear. She didn't respond. Because I was right. I'm not your family. I know. I'm not your employees. I know. Then stop treating me like someone who needs an exit plan. For several seconds, she said nothing. Then she whispered, I don't know how. That answer broke something inside me. Because it was honest. I spent my whole life learning how to survive. She looked down. Nobody taught me how to keep someone. I reached out. Not dramatically. Not like some movie scene. Just a simple gesture. I held her hand. And for the first time, she didn't pull away. That night, we finally found the missing piece. The fake guard wasn't working alone. The cameras showed him meeting someone outside the estate. A woman. When the image became clear, Isabella stopped breathing. I looked at her. Who is that? She didn't answer. Her face had lost all color. Isabella. Her voice was barely audible. That's impossible. Who is she? She stared at the screen. My mother. The room went silent. I didn't know what to say. The woman who helped Isabella uncover the truth. The woman she trusted. The woman she believed was on her side. Was the person behind the theft. Isabella stepped back. For the first time, I saw her completely broken. Not angry. Not powerful. Just hurt. Kyle. I walked toward her. She betrayed me. I shook my head. Don't say that. But she did. Her eyes filled with anger and pain. My entire life. She stopped. Then whispered. Everyone leaves. I held her shoulders. No. She looked at me. I'm here. But you almost left. The truth hurt. Because she was right. I looked at her. Yes. A tear almost appeared in her eyes. Why did you come back? I thought about it. The contract. The lies. The danger. Everything. Then I answered honestly. Because I realized something. What? I wasn't trying to escape you. I looked at her. I was trying to escape the fear that I wasn't important to you. Her expression changed. And now I know I was wrong. Silence. Then Isabella whispered. Kyle. Before she could finish, every light in the estate went out. The security system shut down. The entire building went dark. Then every phone in the room received the same message. One sentence. From Adrian. You found the traitor. But you still don't know the biggest one. I looked at Isabella. Her face changed. Because she understood. Someone else was coming. Someone closer. Someone we never suspected. And this time, the target wasn't the evidence. It was us. The first thing I noticed when the lights went out was Isabella's hand. Not her security team rushing around. Not the alarms suddenly failing. Not the message from Adrian appearing on every screen. Her hand. She reached for mine. Not because she needed protection. Not because she was afraid. Because after everything that happened, she still chose to find me first. That small action told me more than any confession ever could. Stay close to me. Her voice was calm again. The Isabella everyone knew had returned. But this time, I knew what was underneath. The fear. The doubt. The woman who was tired of losing people. I'm not going anywhere. She looked at me for a second. A small expression crossed her face. Almost disbelief. Like she still couldn't believe someone would say that to her. Then she turned to Marco. Restore the system. We're trying. How long? 5 minutes. Isabella looked around the room. 5 minutes is enough time for someone who planned this. She was right. The power outage wasn't the attack. It was a distraction. Someone wanted us focused on the darkness while they moved somewhere else. Where would you go? Everyone looked at me. Isabella frowned. What? I looked at the security layout. If I wanted to break into this place, I wouldn't attack the main system. Marco stepped closer. Why? Because everyone watches the obvious places. I pointed at the screen. You have cameras, guards, and security checkpoints everywhere. I looked at Isabella. But there's one place nobody protects. Her eyes narrowed. What place? The place you think is already safe. Silence. Then Isabella understood. My office. I nodded. The person who stole the evidence before knew exactly where it was. Marco immediately checked the system. A few seconds later, his expression changed. Miss Romano. What? Someone accessed the private archive room. Isabella's face hardened. Again? No. Marco looked confused. This time they didn't take anything. That was worse. Because if someone broke in and left something behind, they wanted us to find it. We reached the archive room together. The door was open. Inside, everything looked untouched. No broken locks. No signs of a struggle. Whoever entered didn't force their way in. They belonged there. Isabella slowly walked inside. I watched her carefully, because I knew what she was thinking. The betrayal was no longer from strangers. It was from people close to her. People she trusted. On the desk was a single envelope. No name. No message. Just an old photograph. Isabella picked it up. The moment she saw it, her expression changed. I stepped closer. What is it? She handed it to me. It was a picture of her family. Isabella. Adrian. Their parents. But there was something strange. Someone had written on the back, "The Romanos didn't destroy your family." My eyes moved to Isabella. She turned the picture over. The next line was worse. "The person who saved you was the one who caused it." I felt a cold feeling. What does that mean? Isabella didn't answer. Because she already knew. Kyle. Her voice was quiet. "I think we've been looking at the wrong enemy." Before I could ask what she meant, a voice came from the doorway. "You finally figured it out." We turned. A woman stood there. Older. Elegant. Calm. Isabella froze. "Mom." Her mother smiled sadly. "I was hoping you would understand before it was too late." I immediately stepped between them. Isabella noticed. But she didn't stop me. Her mother looked at me. "So this is him." The way she said it bothered me. Not with hatred. With disappointment. "You're Kyle." I nodded. "And you're the person who helped Isabella find the evidence." Her expression changed slightly. "Yes." "Then why steal it?" She looked at Isabella. "Because my daughter was about to destroy herself." Isabella's eyes narrowed. "What are you talking about? You think you were protecting Kyle." Her mother sighed. "But you were dragging him deeper into a war he never belonged in." "That doesn't explain anything." Her mother stepped forward. "Adrian wasn't the only one who wanted to control this family." Silence. "Your father was." Isabella froze. "My father?" "Yes." I felt the room change. For years, everyone thought the problem was outside. The enemies. The rivals. The betrayal. But maybe the truth was inside the family all along. He created the conflict with Kyle's father. Her mother continued. He used their company as part of a bigger plan. I looked at Isabella. She looked completely shocked. "No. I'm sorry. No." Her voice became louder. "My father would never do that." Her mother looked at her. "You loved him." A pause. "But loving someone doesn't mean knowing everything about them." The words hit Isabella hard, because they were the same words she had used with me. Later that night, after everything was explained, the truth finally became clear. Adrian wasn't the mastermind. He was trying to expose the truth his own way. Dangerously. Recklessly. But the person who started everything was someone none of us expected. Isabella's father. The man whose name built the Romano Empire. The man she spent her entire life trying to prove worthy of. The man who had already been gone for years. The enemy wasn't alive anymore. But his choices were still destroying everyone. "I'm sorry." I looked at Isabella. She was sitting quietly. For once, she wasn't trying to fix everything. "I'm tired of apologizing." She looked at me. "But I don't know what else to say." I sat beside her. "Then don't." She looked surprised. "What? Don't apologize for things you didn't do." Her eyes softened. "I dragged you into this." "No." I shook my head. "You brought me into your life." A small smile appeared. "That sounds dangerously close to forgiveness." I smiled. "Maybe." She looked at me. "Maybe. I'm still angry." "I know. I'm still going to complain about your secrets." "I know. And you're still terrible at communication." For the first time in days, she laughed. A real laugh. "You're insulting me while forgiving me?" "Yes." "That's your style." "Apparently." She shook her head. "You're impossible." "Funny. I heard that about you." For a moment, everything felt normal. No enemies. No threats. No contracts. Just us. 3 months later, I stood in front of Isabella again. But this time, there was no contract between us. No arrangement. No expiration date. She looked at the document in my hand. Her eyes narrowed. "What is that?" "A new agreement." She immediately looked suspicious. "Absolutely not." I laughed. "Relax." I handed it to her. She read the first line, then looked at me. "This is a marriage agreement?" "Yes." "Kyle." She looked amused. "You know I already married you." "I know." "Then why?" I smiled. "Because the first one had an expiration date." She looked down. The document was simple. No conditions. No obligations. No escape clause. Only one sentence. This marriage exists because both people choose it every day. For once, Isabella didn't know what to say. You wrote this? Yes. She looked at me. You really are impossible. Is that a yes? She folded the paper. Then, instead of signing it, she grabbed a lighter. I immediately stopped her. Wait. She smiled. You thought I was going to burn it? I have learned from experience. She laughed. Then she placed the lighter away. No. She picked up the pen. This time, I'm keeping it. She signed, then handed me the pen. I signed too. Not because we had to, because we wanted to. Isabella looked at me. You know something? What? The first contract ended. I nodded. Yes. She stepped closer. But I never wanted that one. Then what did you want? Her answer was quiet. This. I smiled. Me? She nodded. You. And that was the difference. The first time I became Isabella Romano's husband, it was because of a deal. The second time, it was because we both chose each other. No contract, no deadline, no way out, just a lifetime. And for the first time, Isabella Romano wasn't afraid of losing control. Because she finally understood something. Love was never about holding someone so they couldn't leave. It was about knowing they could leave and trusting they would choose to stay.